just going to do a demonstration on how the defibrillator works. So it's in line with the basic life support and with the safe use of the defibrillator. So please just feel free at any point in time, just ask any questions. If you wait to the end, you might forget. All right. So can I just ask, does anybody know any basic life supports at all? Yeah. Okay, right, so asking a quick question first of all, does anybody know what the primary survey is? Does anybody know that? So the abbreviation as in Doctors ABC? Yeah, Doctors ABC. So what does the D stand for? Danger? Yeah, so danger. So any emergency that anybody would go to, whether it be the ambulance service, whether it would be yourselves, so somebody was collapsed in the kitchen, in the cafe over there, first thing you're going to do before you walk into that area is you're going to check to see if it's safe for you to go in and to deal with that situation. So there is steps 1, 2, 3. Steps 1, you're going to look and make sure if there's one person on the floor, you need to risk assess it and make sure it's safe to approach. If there's 2 people on the floor, you might start questioning why there is 2 people, but you're going to again risk assess it and see if it's safe to approach. If there's 3 or more people on that floor, I'm going to say to you, do not go in. Okay, go back outside, make a quick phone call back to the operator, to 999, and then they will send the appropriate resource. Okay, it could be gases, it could be chemicals, it could be anything in there. Okay, so make sure it's safe for you to approach. Then we're going to move on. So you've done your danger, then you're going to move on to R. Does anybody know what the R would stand for? Okay, it actually stands for response. So you are going to try and get a response from the patient. So you can do that 2 ways. So what 2 ways do you think that could be? Yeah, so you could speak to them. So you could say, hello, can you hear me? Can you open your eyes? So you give them a command, see if they will react to that command. If they don't do it by voice, you can do it by pain. So you can do a pain response. Then you are going to shout for help. Okay, you're going to need assistance. So somebody to dial 999, and if there is a defib, it's available for somebody to bring that to you. Then what are we going to check with the patient? So we move on to the A. Does anybody know what the A stands for?
Airway.
Airway, yeah, absolutely. So you need to check to see if that patient has got anything in their mouth, if there's anything obstructing. If there is, you can try and turn them away from you and just let anything drain out of the mouth. B stands for breathing. Do you know how long you check breathing for? Not very long. Have a go. Bit more? 10 seconds. No longer than 10 seconds. Okay, you will be able to establish if somebody is breathing within 10 seconds. All right, and really importantly, what do you do to the head when you're checking breathing? Tilt it back. Yeah, you need to open that airway. Just by opening that airway, somebody can start breathing. All right, okay, so that is your primary survey. So you would use that all the time. All right, so defibrillator wise, has anybody ever seen a defibrillator before? Yeah, few? Okay then. So this is the one that's actually at the pool. Okay, it's a Cardiac Science G3 defibrillator. Unless you've got one of these, you've got less than 5% survival chance. It has over 75% success rate, the defibrillator. So they are great machines to have. They are going up everywhere at the moment. Right, so this will only shock the heart if the heart needs shocking. Okay, not everybody is in a shockable rhythm. Okay, so you'll put the pads on and you will let it analyse, and then it will tell you whether that person needs a shock. Okay, now has anyone ever seen these around? I know they've got one, they've got them all throughout Portishead. Yeah, they've got them outside Boots. Now the way that works, that is in a locked cabinet, a green locked cabinet. Now you have to, if our ambulance service receives a call and you are within a 200-metre radius of any public access defib, you will be given the code to get the defibrillator out. And it is ring fenced because it is all about you being able to get to that defibrillator safely and on foot. All right, Okay, it's not about you getting in the car, driving 100 miles an hour to get to the defib, which is miles away. Okay, it is about being able to get there safely and on foot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of the primary survey with the safe use of the defib. I'll put it all together and you can actually see how it works, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. All right, okay. Right, so you've been called to a patient, or you've come across a patient, and what are you doing as you are approaching the patient? What are you looking for?
Danger.
Danger, yeah, first thing. Make sure it's safe for you to approach the patient. No hanging wires, electric wires, no broken glass on the floor, etc. So as you are approaching the patient, what are you looking for? What are you going to try and get from the patient? Response. So you can do that two ways. So hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes. So there's no verbal response, so now I'm going to try pain response. So you can press quite hard down on the shoulder. Hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes. There is no response to pain. So I'm going to shout for help. Dial 999 if nobody's already done it, and also if there is a defibrillator, then they can direct you to that, or if it's here, you can call somebody to get that defib for you, because there is one here. Okay, so what are we checking now? Airway, yeah. So I'm just going to look in the mouth, see if there's anything in there. If there is, you can just turn the patient to the side and let anything drain out of the mouth. And now what are we checking? Breathing? Yeah, for how long?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Remember to tilt that head back. So what you're doing is, you are looking, listening and feeling for breath. All right, so you're looking down the chest, you're feeling because you've got the hand on the chest, and you're also feeling for breath on your cheek, and you could probably also smell, okay, someone's breath. So that's for 10 seconds. So if they are breathing, what do you think you're going to do with the patient? Yeah, so you can put them into the recovery position. If they're not breathing, and at the moment you haven't got your defibrillator, what do you think you're going to do? Yeah, already done that.
Oh, you've already done that.
Yeah. Start CPR. This is going to be a bit difficult on here, but you would start your CPR. Okay, so you will be on the chest doing your compressions till somebody comes back with the defibrillator. Okay, right. So as soon as they come back, you need to expose the chest. Okay, because there are things that you need to look for on the chest, which I will go through in a minute. But you need to expose the chest. So rip open the clothes. All right. Now, if there's one available, which most defibrillators have got the packs with them, you need a razor, because if it's a gentleman patient and he's got a really hairy chest, you've got to shave the area where the pads go, because if you don't, the pads will not stick to the chest. They're not going to stick to the skin. They're going to stick to the chest hair. Okay, so there would be no contact with the skin.
So if you haven't got access to anything like that, you just carry on with CPR?
You're just going to have to do, well, no, you can try. You can try.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the defibrillators, even the public access defibs in the cabinets, they've all got the rescue packs, and they've all got those things in there.
Good,
yeah, okay, all right. So, okay, you will shave the chest where the pads go, which I'll show you where the pads go in a minute, which is here and here. Now your defibrillator, don't want to use that one because that's the real one. Once you open this lid, it needs to stay open, because if it closes, it will have to go through the whole analysis of the patient again. So once it's open, you leave it open. Okay, we'll start talking to you and it will tell you what to do.
Tear open package and remove pads.
So tear open the package.
Tear open package and remove pads.
Okay, so there's two pads. They are both exactly
Tear
the
open
same.
package and remove pads. Peel one pad from plastic liner. Peel one pad from plastic liner. Peel one pad from plastic liner. Place one pad on bare upper chest.
So one pad's there.
Place one pad on bare. Peel second pad and place on bare lower chest as shown. Peel second pad and place on bare lower chest as shown. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
So now the machine is actually
Do
analysing.
not touch patient.
So everybody needs
Analyzing
to be clear
rhythm.
from the patient, not touching.
Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing
Probably
button
can't see
to
very
deliver
well
shock.
in this sun, but that is a red light
Stand
and it's
clear.
flashing.
Push flashing button to
And
deliver
it's
shock.
telling you this person needs a shock. So really important, you need to
Stand
make
clear.
sure everyone's clear.
Push flashing button
So I'm
to
clear,
deliver
you're
shock.
clear, checking top, middle, bottom. Just before you
Stand
hit that
clear.
shock button, you're
Push
checking
flashing
again, no
button
one's
to
touching the
deliver
patient. Shocking.
Shock delivered. It is now safe to touch the patient.
So as soon as it tells you
Start
it's safe to touch the
CPR.
patient, you are
Give
now
30
on the
compressions.
chest. Okay?
Then give
And you will
2
keep going
breaths.
now for 2 minutes. Okay? Keep going. Don't stop for 2 minutes. So you can either do 30 compressions to your 2 rescue breaths. So 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Or you do hands
breath.
only CPR.
Give breath.
So you don't need to do your breaths, you just keep going with your compressions. Alright? And you keep going for 2 minutes. Alright? So at 2 minutes, the machine will say to you,
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
so now it's reanalyzing.
Do not touch
Right?
patient.
Reanalyzing.
Analysing
so
rhythm.
everybody clear?
Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing
Okay,
button
everybody
to
clear?
deliver shock.
Shocking.
Shock delivered. It is now safe to touch the patient.
So now you will be back on the
Start
chest
CPR.
again with another 2 minutes.
Give 30
Alright.
compressions.
And you just keep going like that till the help arrives and takes over from you. So every single 2 minutes, that person could potentially need a shock. Okay. The machine may say to you no shock is advised because they are not in a shockable rhythm. And that light will not light up. You can try pressing it, but it won't work. Okay, all right. So it will say to you no shock is advised, to commence CPR, so you just go on the chest. Okay. So every then 2 minutes, it just repeats this cycle. There is safety implications before you put those pads on the chest. All right. Now, so you've removed the clothing. Well, you've done your assessment. You know they're not breathing. Before you actually put those pads on the chest, there are 8 things you need to look out for all around the chest, and they all start with P. Does anyone have a stab at what any of them could be? Pacemaker, yes. Yeah, I'll go through them in a minute, but you've got pacemaker. It's not one of the P's, but it's a good one because you don't treat pregnant ladies any different. You still put the pads on. You still shock them. Anything else?
Yeah,
No. Think of jewellery maybe? Some sort of piercings, yeah. What other jewellery could there be? What could be around the neck?
Pendant.
Yeah, so pendants. Yeah, pendants.
Something to do with water? I can't
Yes, absolutely. They put under pool in. Puzzles. Right. Yeah, you don't, it's electric. You don't want to be shocking somebody with them either led in a pool of water or you stood in a pool of water. You're going to have to get the patient to a dry surface. All right, okay. What's there a few of stood around here? People. So when the machine's analysing, when he's shocking, please make sure everyone's clear. Like I said, when it's analysing, if someone touching the patient is going to pick up movement and is going to pick up your heart rhythm rather than the patient's. And secondly, if someone touches that patient while you're pressing that shock button, they can get the shock. Well, you could, yeah, which is obviously vitally important for the patient. Okay, so you've also got perspiration. So you need to dry the chest off. Somebody in cardiac arrest will be sweating and perspiring an awful lot. You need to dry the chest off. Patches, things like plasters, nicotine patches, only need to be concerned about them if they're underneath where the pads are. All right, okay. Just quickly peel them off. You have also got latex, underwire, in a bra.
You have to take bras off.
Yeah, because this pad here is going to touch the underwire. Okay, so you need to remove it. However you remove it, you need to get the metal away from the pads because it will touch it and obviously it will conduct. All right, okay.
So it could still be attached to the person, just
yeah,
elsewhere.
just not touching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, lift it up over the head or something. Okay,
That'd be
all right.
difficult.
Yeah. If you've got some, if you're handy somewhere where you've got scissors or whatever, just cut it off. Okay, all right. Because you are going to save, what you have to remember is you're going to save the ambulance crew job when they arrive, because they want to see a clear, bare chest. Okay, all right. So that's all the safety implications you have to remember. I know it's a lot. You're thinking, oh, I'm never going to remember 8 Ps, but you will do once you've cut those clothes off and you see piercings. Oh, that's what I was going to say actually. A pacemaker on somebody, okay, is normally over here under the left clavicle. As long as the pads aren't over the top, it's fine. But these pads are this way, so it's not going to be over the top of the pacemaker. So what, for example, I'll ask you a question. If you cut someone's clothes off and they had pacemaker put over this side, or they had a couple of piercings over here, what do you think you could do with the pads?
So you put it the other way around.
Yeah, so you can put one there, you can put one there. The shock, what I would say though, is the shock isn't going to be quite as effective through the heart, because it needs to go from this pad through the heart back through to this pad. But what you have to remember is something's going to be better than nothing. Just the last thing then I want to go through is children. Okay, they are broken down into different age groups. So you have 8 or above. Any child that is 8 or above, you would class as an adult. So your pads would be sighted the same. And how many hands would you use on CPR for an adult? 2. Yeah, absolutely. So 2 hands. So with a child, it's from 1 to 8. Now the pads are sighted differently for a child. Does anybody know where? They're not both on the same side. One, and they are opposite. No? Okay. So one would be on the front, and then one would be on the back. Because children, their bodies are a lot smaller than ours, their organs are a lot closer together, so the shock isn't going to be as effective through the heart. So that's why one goes on the front, one on the back. And how many hands CPR do you think you use? 1, yes. One-handed CPR for a child.
Up to what sort of age would you think?
That's between 1 and 8. Yeah.
What would you do if you didn't know what age the child was?
That's your guess. You've got to guess the age of the child if there's a child, and you're not going to do any harm. Okay, where you're going to position the pads, it's just how effective the shock would be for that child. Okay, and okay, so under 1s, do you think you would put the pads on a baby under 12 months?
No.
Right, yeah. You don't even consider putting those pads on a baby under 12 months. You don't shock a baby. And does anyone know how you do CPR?
2 fingers?
Yeah, 2 fingers. 2 finger compressions. Okay, so under 1s you don't shock. Between 1 and 8, the pads go front and back. And any child over the age of 8 you would treat as an adult. Okay? So all you have to remember is your basic life support. Okay, your doctor's ABC. Danger, response, shout for help, airway, breathing. If they are breathing, you put them in recovery position. If they're not breathing, you start your CPR till somebody comes back with that defib. As soon as they come back with that defib, if there's one available, you get those pads on that chest as soon as possible. All right, okay, because it's all right, the crew's arriving with their nice lovely equipment, which is what they've got their drugs and everything, but if you haven't done this part, it's going to be no good them coming through the door. because this is what is going to save a life. It's a basic life support. Even better if you've got a defib to hand.